So today I'll be showing you guys the best Vanguard settings, and I'll be showing you guys controller settings, graphic settings, etc. First, I'll start out with my keyboard and mouse settings, and I do run mouse sensitivity 4.75. Everything else is pretty much default, because if you guys didn't know, I'll make sure if you're first launching up the game, I'm not sure if this is on console, but this happened on me on PC. Make sure you import your settings, because that is a setting that you do get when you first open up the game. I don't know if you can still do it once you're actually in the game, like after you get to the time you launch up the game, but everything else here is pretty much like default. Like my gameplay, everything's default except automatic tac sprint, that's set. Everything else is pretty much the same for keyboard, other than my melee button. I changed it to mouse button 4. That's just me, that's personal, that's how I like. But everything else is pretty much the same for keyboard settings. For my graphics settings, full screen, this is pretty much all default. Refresh rate, this is your monitor. VSync off, everything. Custom frame rate, you want to limit your, I'm pretty sure this is just default. This is how the game comes. All these are just default. Yeah, pretty much everything here is just default for me. The important settings are the quality settings. Now, render resolution 100. If you put it down, this will give you more FPS, but as you can see in the over here, it'll make your game look like a PS2 game. So there is that. I have dynamic resolution off, texture resolution medium, low, on. For bullet impact and sprays, shader quality low, tessellation off. Level of detail, distance range standard, nearby level of detail low, distant level of detail low, clutter draw distance low, volumetric quality level low. And pretty much for shadows, you'd want to have it off or very low, because shadows aren't the most important things in the world, but some shadows, like as you can see, they don't really affect at all. You can have this off or on. Particle lighting medium, ambient occlusion off, screen place reflection off. For this setting, you want to have it on, and you want to put it all the way up. I'm not sure what it is about this setting, but it just makes your game look a lot better. Anti-Aliasing, this is pretty much default. I'm pretty sure this is how it comes, but just make sure you don't mess with that. Depth of field off. VRAM, that's default. Gameplay settings, I don't have any colorblind settings. This is just default for me. Field of view, I have it on 120, and make sure if you turn this setting on, because it'll just make your weapon look like it has no recoil. Camera movement, you want to have this on 50%, because if you've played this game, you know that the camera movement in this game, it's crazy. You just want to have it as low as possible. Motion blur, you want to turn that off. This is if you have a NVIDIA GPU, you want to turn it on, or on plus boost. I'm pretty sure on plus boost just gives you less FPS, so I mean, on is pretty much okay for me, so that's what I run. So, and also one more thing, if you have a NVIDIA GPU, you can also do a game filter thing, and all you have to do for that is press Alt Z, and then on the left it should say game filter, and what that allows you to do is change the color of your game, and you can change your brightness, saturation, literally everything you can imagine. Now the reason I can't literally show y'all is because my recording is down, so what I'm using to record right now is literally just NVIDIA. So if I try to show you guys how to do it, it'll just show the screen and it won't show what I'm actually doing. And one last thing about it before I go to my audio settings, it does decrease your FPS, so I do not recommend it if you have a lower end GPU. So I'm pretty sure if you have an RTX, you're fine. If not, then I just would stay away from it. Alright, next are my audio settings. I do run really low settings, so don't copy these, because my headphones are different than yours. But for my master volume, it's 25, music volume 0, dialogue volume 18, sound effects volume 55. That's just me. This might be a little too low for most people, so I don't think these are the best settings, but they work for me because my headphones are really loud. I don't use standard headphones. I use earphones. I use the Apple headphones, so those are pretty loud already. So, and all this is just default. Which sucks is that the audio mix, they changed it. So it's just home theater, TV speaker, headphones, and night mode, which is kind of sucks, because Modern Warfare had really good audio settings, but it is what it is. Everything else is just default for me. Interface, everything's default for me here except one thing, I'm pretty sure. FPS counter, that's on. Everything else is hidden. These two, it just like pushes like the HUD closer to your screen. So I mean, if you like having like your map being like closer to here rather than here, you want to turn this down. But other than that, I have it on default. Round or square? Oh, this should be square. If you have your map on square, as you can see, it shows more of the map. So I mean, it does give you a little bit of an advantage if you put your map on squared. So make sure you turn that on. I don't know why I had it on square. Or I didn't have it on square, but whatever. Crosshair bobbing, you just want to have your, I don't like how it no, just turn crosshair bobbing off, and everything else should be the same. Yep, everything else is the same. Now for the controller settings, these were my imported settings for Modern Warfare, I'm pretty sure. So for me, these have been the settings I have been running for the past 3 years. I run on these settings for 3 years. I love these settings. So 7.7, this is default. I do run stick and move, and if you don't know what stick and move is, it's just jump with your right stick. Everything else is default. And I do have an elite controller, so keep that in mind. I crouch with one paddle, switch guns with the other paddle, and then the other two paddles, I'm pretty sure they're for something else. I'm not sure what they do, but they're just there just to be there, I guess. But anyway, these are defaults. Aim response curve type, make sure this is on dynamic. Dynamic is the best. Controller vibration, garbage, turn that off. Weapon fire threshold, I'll just have it on just because. Instant, this is all default, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and if you're on PS4 controller, I'm pretty sure some people, what they like to do is switch their trigger buttons, because LB and R, I don't, what is it on PlayStation again? L1 and R1, they are like closer, or not closer, but like you press them like easier than R2 and L2. So just like, if you want to have that on PlayStation, you can do that. It's something to get used to, but you'll get used to it eventually. For dead zone, you want to have this as low as possible, as long as you don't get stick drift. So for me, left trigger. I guess these are the sticks. I'm not sure, because on Modern Warfare, my dead zone was 13, I guess. But I guess it's 0 now. I'm not getting any stick drift, which is surprising, because, well, always had stick drift, so I mean, you just want to have this as low as possible. As long as you don't get stick drift, you're fine. And you want to have these two at 100. The next, gameplay settings. Target aim assist on. There is more aim assist settings. I'm pretty sure for precision and focusing, these are the ones I use for sniping. So if you do snipe a lot, make sure you're using precision or focusing, because you get more aim assist with these two. And the rest of these are pretty much default. Oh, automatic airborne mantle, I use partial, and ground and mantle on, and automatic ground mantle off. Everything else is the same except automatic tactical sprint, and you want to have slide behavior on tap. Everything else should be the same. Yeah, everything else is the same. And those were my settings. Thank you guys for watching, and subscribe for more content.